beard for life.
Yeah, he wasn't always rocking. So here we are. Let's go to.
We're live.
Hello, everybody. This is Dave Fanale, and this is Real Estate Talk TGIF, episode 238. And today is a very special year end. This is being broadcast on December 30th, 2022. We have the finish line in sight, but a lot of people don't understand that it's actually the starting line. So I want to welcome Brett Sikora, Sekou Pyle, and we're going to be right back after we play our cool intro. Real estate agents, are you looking to acquire clients consistently to grow your business and income for a great lifestyle? Well, this is Dave Fanale, and I'm here to bring you the Real Estate Skill Builder broadcast, Real Estate Talk TGIF, brought to you by Real Estate Skill Builder and the Modern Agent team. Good morning, Brett. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm blown away by your intro video. That is something special. I'm a little disappointed me and Sekou didn't make the cut.
You know what I mean? I'm like, yo.
Oh, you know what? We can always change that. And Brett Sikora, you're the CEO and founder of the Sikora Group. And then we have Mr. Sekou Pyle. We're still missing one person, but Sekou Pyle, you are the CEO and founder of Start at Zero Commitment to Capping and the brand new Chief Growth Officer of the Modern Agent team. Me, I'm Dave Fanale. I am the host here of Real Estate Talk TGIF, as well as the CEO and team leader of the Modern Agent team and Real Estate Skill Builder and so many other things. We don't know what we're doing, but we're going to start with the simple question we ask everybody, and you guys can answer it both at the same time if you'd like. What does TGIF stand for?
The greatness is finally here.
Well, okay, Sekou, you have failed completely. Thank you, Brett, because it is, thank God, it's finale. Here I am. I don't know how that happened. It just worked out when I decided to do this 235 weeks ago. When I saw an agent, actually a mortgage guy, do a really crappy job on this. He was drunk half the time, didn't show up half the time. So it was really crazy. So I decided to do it myself. Here we are. We're at the end of the year, guys. Talk to me. Everybody wants to talk about the market. Everybody, agents. Let's talk about real estate agents, because that's really who this broadcast is always for, and giving value back to the real estate community, the one we work in. And there's a lot of agents scattering. We see a lot of scattering. I believe we see a lot of agents making more out of it than it really is. Brett, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you have a bunch of different categories of agents. I feel like you have the agent that doesn't even pay attention to anything and is actually doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing day in and day out and hasn't felt the market shift in any way, shape, or form. Is still doing deals left and right. You have the new agent that came in and doesn't know any better and is just doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then you have the in the middle that, made money and then now is panicking because they have the news on every day. And then you have the agent that just never really did what they were supposed to be doing anyway. So they're failing out or should go back to, corporate America. But the two that are winning are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And this is not a complicated thing that people tend to overcomplicate.
They tend to overcomplicate it. I emphatically agree with you. But I even say there's a third, it's almost like an umbrella category of agent. And it plagues the entire sales industry. There's the employee-minded agent. And, they were hoping to get a Christmas bonus from their boss this year, or they was hoping to get some time off from their, job this year or something like that. And they just don't understand that, they are the boss and they are the one that gives the bonuses and they are the one that is given time off. And so they're driving their own industry. And most of them are driving it back into the Stone Ages instead of stepping forward into the future. TGIF, thank God it's the future.
That is true. I want to bring in Mark Stein, CEO of Links Residential. Mark, welcome. Question is,
let's go.
The question we started with is, what are most agents doing? What are they looking at? What is the fear? What I see a lot of them scattering. What do you see as what's going on with agents right now?
I think the biggest challenge agents have right now is the unknown. Most of the agents that are in the business right now, a lot of them have joined in the last 5-6 years, right? They've never experienced a different time in the market. They experienced an upward market for the last 5-6 years, and only the veterans have seen it before. A couple of us have been in the market, many, many years here, right? So we've seen, what happened in 2008. And back then I was a little unsure what was going to be, but I, put my head down, focused on making contacts, right? Sekou, everyday contacts.
Everyday contact.
My contacts were walking up and down the main street, meeting every single person, seeing what I can do to help them, all these different, personal contacts in order to build my business. And I came across a trust and estate attorney who does a lot of, deaths. And they're like, yeah, we need always a good realtor. So I started reaching out to all of them, and I started making friends with them, and they gave me business. And like, there's so many different ways to find business, but you need to go out there and put in the work and make the contacts, whether it be making calls, whether it be meeting people, whatever it's going to be. But a lot of the agents right now are just scared of the unknown. And so because they're scared, they're just sitting.
Running scared.
They need to get right. They're sitting scared. Like they're frozen scared. That's what I was looking for. Right. But they need to get out there and just talk to more people and do more things.
Yeah. It's really strange because they're the ones talking about when you ask them how's business. Like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when I would recruit, the question would always be, how's business? Oh, I'm real busy. And the question always went off in my head is, doing what? You've done 8 deals in 12 months. Doing what? Now it's like, oh, yep, still busy. And it's like, okay, what are you doing? How many deals have you got? Well, this year was a little slow. We're down 50%. But it's like, because they're not doing the work really, and they don't know how to do the work. How do you see this, guys, as far as organizations, as far as teams, as far as brokerages, pushing and pulling agents along? Now, I know I use this one really good example where you can't push a rope, but you can pull it. So I see a lot of brokers and team leaders pushing ropes, trying to get people to do stuff and trying to force them into things. But I don't see a lot of people pulling. I do see 4 people on this screen right now that are actually pulling agents along and guiding them. What do you guys see in that? Start with you, Sekou.
What's funny is I had a really interesting conversation with an agent this morning who was thinking about going and working in the Amazon distribution warehouse, for a few weeks because, they need to get their money up so that they can get back to real estate. And they've been an agent for a few years now, and I see this as a product of poor leadership, right? And so she works with an agency that claims to be a real estate coaching company that also does real estate, and I'm like, well, what is the plan to get you productive in real estate instead of getting your Amazon warehouse facility to fund your real estate endeavors so that you can go back to Amazon, so that you can fund your real estate endeavors, so you can go back, maybe drive Uber. And
right.
There's no answer. So the way I see it is, until agents get up the right amount of questions, until they give up the need to be right, until they start acting like they don't know anything and start really leaning in on the folks that do want to help them, it's going to be a continuous cycle. We run a workshop literally every day that helps agents to lead generate. I see dwindling numbers at the same time of year every single year.
Right.
And so I say to myself, these are the same agents that were like, they need hands-on training. And so they want to go to an office to sit next to some team leader or some broker that's just going to tell them what to do and never show them what to do. I say the issue is that not enough people are willing to do. Leadership, agents, whatever. There's not enough people willing to take action, willing to audit their action, and then willing to adjust to the audit.
Yeah. I would say one of my favorite questions too is, when you swiped your credit card and decided you were going to real estate school, what did you think was going to happen? And they build, like, nobody gets a real estate license to make 35 grand a year. Nobody, that's not like, there's nobody out there. Everybody swipes it. I want freedom. I want time. I want vacations. I want to pay for my kids to go to college, and I want to do this and blah, 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 blah. And when they're at the end of that journey and they're feeling that defeat and the failure, I ask them, to go back to that what did you want out of this? And then look at yourself right now, and what do you know you did not do in between that whole, time frame there? And if you don't want to do what it takes, go back to corporate America. It is the time. This is not going to work for you. But if you want to get back into that same mindset when you wanted to make your 500 grand a year, your million a year, the sky's the limit, that sort of thing, and you want to move some mountains, then tune in, come hang out with Sekou, come hang out with Dave, with Mark, like come into the actual trainings that are happening.
That's right.
And create accountability in your world, because we can't do it for you. And like I tell everybody, the four of us, like, we're all good. We're going to be fine. None of us are worried about anything in the future right now. And I know that if you don't want, like, my income's 100% reliant on realtors succeeding around me. I know that if you don't want to succeed and you don't want to do and take the prescription and, follow the business plan that we're creating for you and have accountability, that's totally fine. I'll go find 10 others that do.
Yeah.
Right. I find that the agents who are having those problems and not making enough money is that they're not treating it like a job, right? They're treating it like a hobby. They're treating it like, oh, I'll do this on my free time, right? I met with an agent, 2 weeks ago. He came to the office one day, and I said to Dave, I'll never see him again, right? Because he doesn't want to do the work. He doesn't want to put in the time. He doesn't want to make the calls. He just wants to be in real estate because he thinks being in real estate is going to make him money and people are going to call him. Right? It's not. You got to put in the work. I mean, all of us have been in this business a long time. We all started as real estate agents, right? We didn't get to be team leaders and coaches and trainers because we woke up one day and said we're going to do that. We're doing this from our experience of working as an agent, figuring out the systems that work, figuring out, the plan, right? The strategies, the ideas that you have to put into place, and you have to put the time and energy into doing that. It's not I'll work an hour a day here and there. It's I'll work 8, 10, 12 hours a day, right? Every day, 7 days a week, just to get to the point where I can be comfortable and know my business is running and coming in. But agents don't want to do that right now. They think it was so easy the last few years. I'm going to just do it as a part-time thing. Treat it like a job. Show up every day at 8 o'clock in the morning, clock into work, make your calls, do your emails, make your contacts, do your follow-up, right? Learn the MLS systems, learn the market that you want to be in, market to those people and start doing business.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I've been around a couple years longer than you guys, and I've been through all these up and down markets in the real estate brokerage business, a few of them. And I got to tell you, there's nothing different today than it was 10 years ago. There's nothing different today than it was 5 years ago. I mean, we had an anomaly of like 2.5 years where it was easy to get into business. Well, think back to 05, I guess, 04. It was the same thing. Well, not exactly, not the reasons and how it all happened, but basically it was the same thing. Agents became order takers. The ones that were in the business, right, forgot how to do presentations, forgot how to be service oriented and relationally oriented rather than transaction oriented. Same thing has happened today. And the new people getting in the business, same thing happened. We lost all these agents. It took 4 or 5 years in the first decade of this century. Now it's going to happen in probably maybe 6 to 12 months where we lose a lot of people. And let's not forget the real number, which no one's talking about. From 2020 to 2021, we went from 1.5 million realtors in the country to 1.6. The number that nobody knows and nobody's talking about is 400,000 of those 1.6 were new agents over that span. So a lot of people left because of the pandemic. A lot of people came in because we're going to make some easy money. Oh, yeah, and I want to be an investor. So I see that. I'm still seeing that where people want to get in the business to be an investor. Had that the other day with someone I'm talking to about coming and interviewing. But the whole thing is that the work ethic has to be there. And I don't think anything has changed in any of that. Like you said, Brett, what did you swipe your credit card for? Was it to hang out and watch the money come rolling in? And just like the person Mark is talking about, he came in and says, I'm going to make $500,000 this year. I said, okay, tell me your plan. He goes, what do you mean? I'm just going to sell a lot of real estate. Okay. How does that make sense?
Yep.
I mean, moving forward, what can we do? Is there anything, that's not this question, right? What can we do differently than we've been doing over the past 10 years?
Adapt.
Is there anything? And tell me what that would be, or what you're going to. How are you guys building your businesses now, as far as teams, as far as structure, everything else? What are you changing?
I'm only working with agents who are willing to work. We're not rescuing anybody.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of where I'm at right now as well. I will never not pick up an agent's phone call. I will never not schedule a one-on-one. I will never not do any of that until we create a homework assignment on that one-on-one, and they come back to me the next week and tell me that they didn't do it. That's when they are completely dead to me, and I'll probably give them another chance beyond that as well. But I don't have time for that. And there are so many people in this world that will do it. It's kind of like, it's the same with sellers. It's the same with buyers. So many people get hung up on the people that aren't going to transact or aren't going to be the perfect client for them. And it's because they're not looking for the people who are the perfect clients for them. They haven't even created an avatar. Like my avatar for a realtor that I want to work with is somebody who's going to put in the work. If you're not willing to do that, I'm very abrasive. Like you're not going to like what I have to say. And Sekou mentioned adapting. I'm back in Mike Ferry coaching. When I started with Sekou in 2000, I started in 2007, but I met Sekou back in 2009. We were Mike Ferry scripted prospectors. And to have empathy towards a new agent, I was broke. My credit score sucked. I owed the IRS money. I had credit card debt. I get it. There's empathy there. And I hated making phone calls. I hated talking to clients because I didn't feel like I was the best person for them to be listing with. And until I developed that skill set and I developed that mindset behind it, I started thriving. But you do have to push yourself through discomfort for an extended period of time in order to find success. And you do have to follow the plan, and you do have to work. And here's the funny thing. It's not hard work, guys.
It's not.
No, it's hard.
I haven't lifted one cement block yet. Like
it's fucking work is what it's called, right? So, Brett, I want to go to one thing you said. I'm going to give it up, then I'll give it up to Mark. I remember a time and an agent begged me for time to help them build their business. This is an agent at one time was doing like 24, 25 deals a year. And I told her 3 years early, if you're not on social media, you're not going to be in business in 5 years. Well, over that 3 years time, her business went down to 12 and she comes begging for help. Quick story. I give her the help. We go through it. I said, we had a 60-minute one-on-one. Says, next week you need to come in. You will have done this, this, and this. She comes in for the appointment the next week, says, yeah, I didn't get to it. I said, fine. Tell you what, go do the work. When you're done, call me. Let's reschedule because there's really no further we can go. That was the day I decided to sell my brokerage because I didn't want to work with the people that didn't want to work. Now I'm working with only people that want to work, period. You don't want to work. That's okay. There's plenty of brokers out there where you can go and drink their coffee and breathe their air. Not me.
Yep. Can I show you something while we're talking? Can I share my screen really quickly?
I don't know.
Let me see. Hold on. Yes.
Hit that present button.
Yes, I can. Hold on. Let me hit that and let me hit the Chrome tab. While we're talking, I just want you to see something. This is what, as a coach, I do. This is my week. Right? There's 1,340 calls that were made, 629 contacts, over 200 leads, and 7 appointments. Now, if we're counting days, that's at least an appointment a day for this week. I have an 88% conversion rate with my appointments. So it's pretty safe to say that I'm going to take most of these. I'm going to take 5 out of these 7 contracts, either buyer or listing or something like that. So if we were doing the math, this coach is telling agents that they can do a deal a day. And I'm doing a deal a day in order to show them how to do a deal a day. Now I have a few other agents on here and they're ramping up to speed and getting used to doing their own lead generation. So those are the other numbers on here. But I just wanted to share what the work looks like. Now, on my best day before real estate, I was picking shit up and putting shit down. I was hammering stuff in. I was driving stuff around the country. I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff to make $1. Now I pick up the phone for 30 minutes. I set a few appointments. Some of them turn into greatness. Some of them turn into shit. That is the extent of my hard work. That is the extent of the difficulty of the work. The real work is in our brain.
Yep.
Getting ourselves past the resistance, what Sikora said about not feeling like he was prepared enough. Well, on my worst day as a realtor, or my first day as a realtor, I have more in the tank than their best day as an amateur investor, their best day as an amateur seller for sale by owner, than their best day as a person walking around looking at properties. I have more resources available to me. And the moment that we just understand that 90% of every single list we have, no matter how well curated, no matter how expensive, no matter whether it's from Vulcan 7 or from Mojo or from this one or that one, 90% of every list we have is going to be no. They can't do anything with us. They already bought the house. They already got married. They already got divorced. It already happened. They're going to hang up on us. They're going to tell us to go burp ourselves, whatever it is. 90% of the people it could be all your aunties on the list. And still 90% of them are going to say, well, how do we say boobies or whatever? Whatever it is, it's going to be 90% no. And it's the idea that Sikora said of instead of looking at that 90% as failure, look at the 10% that you can work with.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
I think there's an underlying theme here. And again, I think it's the secret to any successful real estate agent or any salesperson is about getting up every morning and taking action. The problem is that all the agents that complain that there's not enough business, they're not taking action. All they're doing is complaining. All they're doing is, I meant to do that today, or I plan to do that today, or I'm getting ready to do that today, but they're not actually doing anything, right? There's no accountability for them because they don't want it. They don't want to take the action. And it's their subconscious telling them like, oh, I need to do this, but I'm not going to do it, right? Massive action is the only way for anyone to be successful in what they do, especially as a real estate agent. And these real estate agents that are coming in never had to take massive actions because the business was just there. But now the business is changing. You have to learn how to take that massive action every day, make the calls, make the contacts, meet people, go on listing presentations that maybe you're not going to get the first 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 listings that you go on, but you're going to get the experience from taking those actions that you'll be able to get the next listing. And so agents need to take action.
Mark, would you say that this is no longer a hobby? It's not more of a business than it ever was?
I mean, it's more of a business now than it ever was, but it's always been a business. The problem is that people viewed it as a hobby. And people still do, right? The general population think real estate agents are not professionals, right? They think that I'm going to call my neighbor as a real estate agent, right? That's their mindset because that's the way our society is, right? So we have to educate people that this is our profession, right? To help people buy and sell homes. And this is what we're going to do for you. Here are all the actions we're going to take for you. Here is our strategy and business plan to be successful. But agents don't think like that, right? Only the top of the top think like that.
So, but how essential is that business plan? How essential are all the facets of such a quote unquote business plan? How important is that, guys?
Business plan, I think I'm going to disagree with you here. Business plans suck. You need an action plan. You need a goal,
right?
And you need the actions you're going to get there, right? That's all you need, right? Figure out what it is your goal is that you want, right? The 1, 2, 3 things you need to do, and what are the 10, 12, 15 steps, actions that you're going to need to do every day in order to get to that goal. That's all you need. One page.
I tell you what.
Do that one page, write it out, and we can review it.
I tell you what. I'm going to agree with Mark and Dave with this, and probably Sikora, because I could see his head bobbing up and down right there. There are a shit ton of people who are great at being admins. And that's what a lot of the real estate agents come in here and do. They put together a great business plan. They're really neat and they're really clean and they really got all of their pencils sharpened and all of their rulers are in the box and all of that crap. It means nothing if you don't go out and be a salesperson. There's so many real estate agents who are adverse to being salespeople. Well, the reality is the world runs on salespeople, baby. I swear to goodness that I look at every single real estate salesperson as the bright, shiny center of the universe. When you get somebody to say yes to a property, there's so many little things that go into play. There are jobs that are created. There is all kinds of municipalities that go in this space. There's seats and butts in schools as a result of you getting somebody to say yes. So I think real estate agents need to get off of their high horse, stop being all pretentious and all of this crap and stuff. I'm not a salesperson. I'm a real estate broker. And just start getting their hands dirty and taking that action plan and freaking doing it, breaking shit.
Yep. You're not that busy.
You're never that busy.
True.
Yeah.
But the best thing that I love doing is when an agent tells me they're too busy, I'm like, great, let's write down everything you're doing, in the next 48 hours and let's go over it. And when they realize the 6 or 8 hours a day that they're wasting on bullshit, right? I'm like, great. Now take half that time and actually apply it to work and let's see if you can get business.
I always show, let me pull this up and see if I can share real quick too. Let me see. This was my schedule. So I always show people this. This is a busy schedule. Like this is what like
that is it. Yes.
That was me in 2020, and I'm just flipping it up real quick just to give you people. But like that was me when shit hit the fan when COVID locked down Hoboken. That was May 1st of 2020. So my point is like I almost look for troubled markets because that's when I move fast. Like you should be happy that this is the market that you can work in right now. You should be happy that there's 50% of the people that are a little concerned about what's going on. And there's 25% kind of in the middle. And there's probably like 10% doing what they're actually supposed to be doing. And something, but like, that's when you move. That's when you grow. Sekou, I remember you and Patrick Southern were talking back in 2009. And he taught me that. And he said, I pray for down markets because the consumer actually looks for skill-based agents. They can't just list their home with their sister that got their real estate license. They can't just work with a random person on the buy side of things that doesn't have the best lender in the game, that knows how to work with the 2-1 buy down and actually make that presentable to a seller to get them more money at the end of like they don't know how to actually work through inspection and all those things that could go wrong in these transactions, oil tanks, blah, 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 and keeping deals together. So they're losing properties, they're losing buyers on them on the other side of things. And it's just for the consumer, we're not in a market to mess around right now. And they know that. They definitely know that. So if they're making a move, they're not calling the agent that is just there to be there. They're calling the one that actually sharpens their knife every single day.
But Brett, to that point, we're still seeing people, I'm going to use my sister, I'm going to use my friend because I trust them, but they're not. How do you get through that? I know, Sekou, we've got an objection handler just for that, but is there a simple way to get through to people that they should be talking to more people than just their cousin?
I mean, personally, for me, that I would almost think that's not my 10% that I'm targeting. I'd almost say, you know what? Go with your sister. If you think that's the best decision to net you the most amount of money in this very volatile market, go do it. And I'm still here to be a resource for you, throughout this whole thing. I know that realtors come and go, and I know that things go wrong all the time. And for me, it's about, winning that marathon. And I've already been doing it for 15 years and whatnot, but I'm a long-term play. So I've always said, hey, I might lose a sale, but I'll never lose a client. And releasing the attachment to that almost makes the consumer want to be a part of your family even more. It makes them start thinking, oh shit, am I supposed to list with my sister? Should I sit down with them? Hey, maybe there's a way that I could list with your sister and we could partner up on it to make sure that she doesn't screw this up. Would she want to sit down and see what we're doing? Yeah. She could run our marketing plan with me behind it, making sure that you net the most amount of money. And then she still gets, a good chunk of the commission on that. Would that make sense for us to all meet together? I don't know, just taking it. But my point is that's not really like, if you're prospecting and somebody's so stuck on that, I don't want to say you don't need the objection handler, because I just rattled off like 2 options that could come out.
I was like, that's a pretty damn good objection handler. But
yeah, they're there. Like, I got it. But really, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and for me, it's about coaching agents and bringing them into my world. If it goes back to it, it's like, if they're not going to do it in the way that I know is best for them, that their life will be, better at the end of this, and everything will go super smooth and they'll be thriving and whatnot. If they're not willing to do that, that's not my market. That's not my client. That's not the consumer that I'm after. And I can make that decision because I have a pipeline that fills a calendar like what you guys saw there.
See, I wouldn't call that an objection handler. I would call it jumping, as I always do, jumping over the objection by letting them discover what the choices truly are, right? Because that's what we're here for. We're here to allow them to discover what's going on, whether that be a seller or a buyer or whatever it is, and to make sure that they're discovering it, because we need, as Sekou says, go out of your way to make them right? Make them feel important. It's the important part of coming from their end, and that's what realtors miss. I mean, there's so much stench out there of commission breath that it's like, it's nuts, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, when I was still selling, I used to always say, I personally don't need to sell your home. If you need to sell your home, here's what we should do.
Right.
That's beautiful.
I love it. I love it. I used to say all the time, and I still say this. It's like, it's okay. We help a lot of realtors sell their own homes. So, do you think your sister needs help, or does she want to do it on her own?
Well, it's the whole thing. There's a lot of inexperienced people out there actually selling as realtors, selling their homes on their own, and that I don't understand. Never did, and we've seen that firsthand, right, Si? We've seen that firsthand in our sessions.
We had one yesterday. Listen, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that I don't hear enough questions from realtors. Now, let me qualify this by saying I coach hundreds of realtors a year. I heard somebody say they coach tens of thousands of realtors a year. I want to know what that schedule looks like. But in coaching hundreds of realtors a year, I get a lot of questions from them. But I interact with thousands of realtors a year, and I make bold statements. I back my bold statements up with actions, but I make bold statements that an agent can do a deal a day. I don't hear nearly enough questions from agents like, how do I do a deal a day? Where do I go for that kind of training? How come I'm not getting that from my broker or something like that? I'm learning that the average agent is really an average agent, right? That there are a pack of wolves out there that we could be a part of, and that the more we raise our standards, like Brett is saying, like he gives them a chance to do right. And if they don't do right, like you said, if they don't do the assignment, we reschedule. The more we raise our standards to be with like kind, I am a fucking wolf, and I do not have time to be running around shielding a chicken from their pain, right? And I'm saying this almost derogatorily. Is that the right word? I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm saying this almost derogatorily because whatever, you know what the hell I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Because it's really, really that cut and dry. It really is that cut and dry. Do we have the bandwidth to help someone who's not doing any data or input? No. I won't. Sure, if this business is teams, I think the brokerage method is dying. I think the future of this business in general is teams. I think there's a lot of future in the virtual market so we can reach more people. And the more people I talk to that are dying to get back to the way it was, the easier it is for me to see who's stepping forward into the future.
You think about it, and who's stepping forward, who's going to do the work. You talk about the brokerage model. I'm going to go a step further. Number one, I believe most of the brokerage models, and I can name them off. Most of them are old school. They're actually, it's broken. I also think a lot of the coaching models are broken because it's, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to learn? What do you want to do? How are you going to do this? There's no accountability involved in it. It's just a lot of this and that. We saw yesterday firsthand a national coach, talking about something out of his ass that he didn't know what he was talking about, telling how much he loved this company, but the company is screwing themselves, yada, yada, yada. You guys can guess what I'm talking about. But, it was nothing there was nothing new. And what we're seeing is that type of, while he's a great coach, I think he hurt himself there. And I think most coaches have great stuff, but they're just not hitting it the way they should. And it's more old school, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But I will tell you that the Mike Ferry method still works, right? And it always will, because it's really is relational, right? So, look, a brokerage model, unless you're a brokerage that's a team, and that's what a team really is. It's a brokerage within a brokerage. It might not work. And are you based on profitability, or are you based on ancillary services making you money? So, my opinion, brokerage model of old is gone, is broken. The coaching model is broken. And here we are, 4 people that have already gone to the next level.
Yeah.
I feel like too, with that, when you're looking at your brokerage, or if you're looking at a team that you're currently on and everything like that too, is your leader. So if we take Glenn Sanford, he was just on a Zoom the other day, and he was talking about how his goal within the next 10 years is to have 1 million agents. Glenn knows, and I personally know, that what he has is the best model. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think that the way that it was thought out in 2009 to scale in the way that it scaled and not break and still remain profitable is absolutely genius. I'd love to know who the CFO was involved way back when. But then going back to what we're talking about, the confidence, the listing appointments and whatnot, I then personally, I know, like in my head, I am the best resource for a real estate agent that wants to join a team. Then I also know that if a real estate agent wants to come into our world and be a part of our mastermind, that we have the best masterminds. Like nothing competes with what we're doing. And what I tell people is look internally, like look within the mom and pop brokerage you're at, or look at the bigger franchise that you're working at, or look on the real estate team that you're within, or the coach that you're working with. And I'm going to knock Tom Ferry on this too. And I watched this happen. When they grew, their quality of coaches went to shit. They were letting anybody into the organization to coach. So look within that and say, am I working with the best? Am I working with somebody that truly believes that they are here to make a difference on this planet, or are they just going through the motions?
No, what's their fucking mission?
Yeah.
And how obsessed with it are they?
So, Brett, I agree with you 100% about that coaching company from as long as 10 years ago. Right, as long as 10 years ago, and you know, a lot of look, there's thousands of coaches out there now. Everybody's a coach, and I get that, and that makes a lot of sense because they've got the experience. They're sharing their experience on what worked and how it worked, you know. And God bless the industry, you know. But be out there and actually have the accountability process, have the process where you know what's working, what's not working, and make sure that you're actually doing the work with them. And that's what we do. We do the work with them, you know, and that's a little bit different twist of the team, of the brokers, where we're actually there every day with them. And that's why we're different. That's why we're going to succeed. Plain and simple.
100%.
You know,
an agent asked me the other day about the validity around calling for sale by owners and expireds and how effective that really is. And it was a testimony to just pick up the phone in front of them and set an appointment within the first call, first contact, set an appointment. And so I say that one of the major principles that we're fighting against is discouragement. You know, there are a lot of, I mean, listen, new agents, don't get discouraged because you're new. And, you know, we are talking some big numbers, but a lot of folks get discouraged because they don't win in the first 2 or 3 attempts that they try, you know, to get business. I look at their progress and growth the same way I look at them getting trained at some office where it's their first day, where, you know, whatever it is they decided to do, they wasn't good the first day they walked through the door. I don't care what it was. I don't care how long you studied. The first day you started at a company, you still had a learning curve. Well, this is your company and you're learning to run your business. So you're going to have a lot of shitty days.
That's the problem. Is also they're not realizing that it's a job and you have to show up the next day, no matter what happened the day before. Like if you were hired by some other company, you got to be there 9 to 5 every day. You're there 9 to 5 every day because you want to get paid.
No, they're 8:45 to.
Why are you not in the office making calls at 8:45 or 9 a.m. every day for your business, which is unlimited earning potential, right? Like you get hired for a job 9 to 5, you're getting paid whatever, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, but then you won't show up where you can make $200,000 a year and make the calls. Like, I don't understand why the agents don't understand taking those actions every day are going to help them.
Well, there's that 80-20 rule. There's only 20% of the population that's going to really, really be able to do this.
It's more 90-10 these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, you know, it's the old thing about work, Mark. You start at 9, people show up at 9 and they start working at 9:15, 9:20. I've been having this argument forever with people and they don't want to listen. You know what I really should have done is fired everybody that did it the second day. Say, okay, you don't want to get here at 9:15. I'm either going to cut your pay or you're going to go get another job.
Right.
And that's really what we want it all to come down to. We're still in that transition stage, right?
Yeah.
So you have to make it, you have to see what the person's situation is. But, you know, so guys, as we move into a couple of days, we move into a new year. I mean, nothing's really changing for what we're doing because all 4 of us have adapted to any type of business or any shift where when people say, yeah, I'm going to put my new plan into action on the first, and it's just like I'm going to go join a gym, right? I mean, what do you guys think is if someone was going to start or someone was stuck and they really need to get their business going and they're really willing to commit, what should they do January 2?
For us, yeah. Everybody's jumping like, I got this. Yeah, no. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Mark, you go.
I'll just say show up at 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock, make your calls, learn how to make the calls, learn what you're going to suck at, learn what you're going to be good at, and just keep doing it every day. The problem is they show up January 2nd and do that, but they don't show up January 3rd or 4th. That's the problem, right? So it's showing up January 2nd and 3rd and 4th and 5th and on and on and on. And if you screw up one day, you screwed up. It's like when you're dieting, right? Oh, I'm going to start my diet on Monday morning, right? Monday morning, I start my diet. By Monday afternoon, you screw up. Oh, I have to wait not till next Monday to start. No, start Tuesday morning again. But agents don't do that. They screw up and they're like, oh, forget this, not going to happen.
So how about this? How about we have a subscription for everybody to come in and they pay us $99 a month, just like the gym. And then if they want to stop paying, they have to quit the gym. Nah, that's not going to work.
Listen, I think what they should do, I think what every agent should do is set an outcome instead of saying, you know, well, let me get perfect before I get started. I think they should get started to get perfect, right? There's a lot of people looking for the end results. I think we should be looking for the start results. So don't you need a goal? Don't you need a target? If you show me one more fucking agent with a goal and a target that doesn't reach it, I will fucking spit my own eyeballs out. Okay.
Well, because they're not reaching it because they're not putting action plan together. They're not putting down what they need to be doing every day. And the problem is they do it one day or day one, and they don't do it day 2 or 3. Like they need to continue consistency of understanding it's a job that you have to show up for every day and do the work.
Look, if you get started after you sharpen all your pencils and keep finding more fucking pencils to sharpen, you'll never get stuff done, right? And so what I'm looking for is an agent that's willing to wear out the nib on one pencil before they have to worry about sharpening the next. That's what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Day 1, January 2.
I was going to say the way we operate too is we let them kind of write their own business plan with something that empowers them, and we'll grill them and ask like, do you really want to do that, or do you really want to do this, or do we need to tweak it so it's like this, so that you actually want to be at the office at 8:45, and kind of get a little more into like the mindset root of it. And then for us, we're big on it like Mark was saying, it's daily goals that we check up weekly. We do have that target at the end, but I find a lot of times people find that like the year comes around really quick. And did they set a realistic goal, or where did they fall off? So we try to catch them. Like if they're going to fall off on, let me just look at the calendar, but if they're going to fall off on January 3rd, which is the first work day, and then they get back on the horse the 4th, then they're on the horse again the 5th, then they're falling off on the 6th. Okay, great. We had 2 working days. Let's look at the next week. Let's figure out, can we get 3 working days? Can we get 2.5? The whole idea is to, like you're saying, just get it back to where it needs to go, because it's that daily consistency that creates results. Dan Spitz is a fantastic agent in my world. He didn't make $1 after 7 months of prospecting. He was in Sekou's Appointment Academy, everything. 22-year-old kid, only calling luxury buildings in an area that he knew nothing about and was not from. But he kept going. And then the snowball just hit to the point where we had to adjust his goals because he was outpacing them. So like his yearly goal, June of the 2nd full year, he was way beyond where he thought he could make money because he only focused on the daily activity.
Yeah, it's a matter of continually doing the work. He said it's 7 months he didn't hit anything. I mean, I'll give you a quick story. Ryan Stewman, same thing. He did a podcast for 6-7 years. Nobody ever watched it, and all of a sudden everybody started watching it for some reason. And he's an 8-9 figure earner annually. So, yep. I mean, yes, he's a coach and a mortgage guy, but still the same thing. I mean, you have to keep doing it, and it may take longer than most, but you know what? It is what it is.
Let's wait before you move on to the next thing. I want to build off of everyone's conversation. In March 2022, I had a goal to get back in shape. In December 2022, I have a goal to get back in the ring. By February 2023, there'll be another goal, right? I'll be in the 50 plus division if I get back in the ring. But by December, I mean by February or March 2023, I'll have a different goal. Maybe I want to place in a tournament, or maybe I want to rank or a belt or something like that. Like your goals are always temporary.
Right.
Your drive is the thing that needs to be purposeful and be consistent. Today in Kwanzaa, right? Today's principle is Nia. And Nia is purpose. And the very essence of this principle is that our collective vocation, our collective job should be to make the world better. That should be our collective job. So if my goal is to make the world better, there's always going to be another rung on that ladder to grow. My will is the thing that needs to be solid. My skill can improve.
That's right. So guys, I noticed there's one thing very much in common, aside from greatness and being the New Jersey Fantastic Four, is that although you can't really see mine that well, there is a beard in every quadrant here. And Sekou and I had a comment to talk about salt and pepper. Brett, yours is on and off, and it's on, so it's there. Are you going to grow it long like these two guys?
I'm back and forth on it. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how I feel when daily goals. I reassess everything.
Right? So I'm looking to be a real Santa Claus next year. So I've got some work cut out for me. But I think I need to get younger and make it darker. So we're gonna work on that. Anyway, guys, look, I'm gonna end this broadcast the same way I end every broadcast. The first point I learned from Sekou is, guys, how can I help you, Mark, you, Sekou, you, Brett, grow your business?
I think you just need to keep being an inspiration to all of us, and help us keep going. I mean, we all are going to lose focus once in a while, but we have each other to help keep us focused, right? And help keep us on our goals and making sure that we're doing it, and keeping the accountability of the challenge of being better every day is really helpful. So I appreciate all of you guys and everything you do, and you keep me focused and keep me wanting to be better and do better. So thank you.
I'm gonna take us in a little bit of a different direction than we normally go into. Deanne says yes, accountability. I'm gonna build off of what Deanne says, the accountability there, and I'm gonna say, Dave, what you can do to help me is to let go of the mistakes of the past and be willing to embrace the risk of the future, and hold me accountable for it as well. We talked about this yesterday.
We did, and shame on you for bringing that up. No, I'm just kidding. We did talk about this yesterday, and that's really good. Thank you, Sekou. And that I am absolutely doing that. It's been a hard road, but we are going to do it. And thank you, Deanne, for coming on. Brett, you're it.
I would say keep doing what you're doing right now. It's super inspiring to see how dialed in you are. I mean, I tried to get you to go golfing 3 weeks ago when we had a 50+ degree day, and you were just like, I can't. So like having that integrity in your schedule, and it really revolves 100% around helping agents succeed and doing the in-person events that you've been doing, and allowing agents of mine to plug into them and just, be a part of it just elevates the whole game. I mean, this is, anybody who's watching this that does, like, this is our tribe. This is the table I like to sit at in New Jersey, and we have several different tables here locally. But it's fun to work with you guys.
Well, I want to end this because I never get to say this, and I want to thank you guys for inspiring me. I mean, I've been, both Mark and I have both owned brokerages, and we've seen the differences that we've been able to make in people's lives, the way we've changed and pivoted, and the support and collaboration, not only over the entire North America, but also with you guys individually. And I know that, there's a real thickness here, and I do appreciate that. And last but not least is always the same thing I end with. So I'm going to give you guys, a choice now. Okay. So there's the current hat, which is this one with black. We've got white, we've got blue. We've also got the older ones, the white and the red and the black. So you guys can choose what you want. If you don't have a new one, I think everybody's got a new one, but you know what? It looks like there's going to have to be some kind of dispensation for these hats. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you all so much for being on. Next week, let's not forget our promo for next week. We've got Jay Gutman coming on, who's a CPA, tax consultant, and a business owner advisor. Probably the best time because it's the first week in January. Got to get your shit together for tax season, which is coming up. Maybe you haven't done it. It's a good time to sit and talk with Jay and everything else. Again, guys, thank you. We've got your information scrolling on the bottom. Hang out for one quick minute, and we will be right back and finalize. Thank you so much, guys. We will see you real soon.
Hey!